Hi, I'm Laura Lively. Welcome to you and all of your parts. Last week, we talked about people watching. We talked about external people watching, and I had the opportunity to be in an airport for several hours. And boy, is there good people watching there. So I would invite you, if you still haven't done that, go back and listen to last week and then spend some time people watching. Now, maybe you're not going to be in an international airport or on the other side of the world in an airport, but do what you can. If you're in a restaurant, if you're in a mall, maybe even if you're at work and watching people in the break room, notice yourself people watching. And so this kind of skill of noticing the people, I think we can turn into internal people watching. And by people, of course, I mean parts. Now, the reason I think that this can be so helpful is, you guys maybe have heard me talk about my triple A's that I think I kind of add to the internal family systems model, which is we need to be able to acknowledge, accept, and appreciate our parts. And if we can do that, then they can relax, which gives us more access to self-energy. So, I talk about the triple A's because acknowledge, accept, and appreciate, but candidly, there's actually a fourth A. It's called awareness. And quadruple A just doesn't have the same ring as triple A, but truthfully, there is a fourth A, and that fourth A is awareness. And so one of the things I wanted you to be able to do when you were, people watching externally was to start to develop awareness of the thoughts you had about those people, of the judgments you might have had about those people, of the desires you had about those people, or were you envious of them, or hey, was he or she really good looking and might like to get a little closer to that. Like those are all parts of us that have desires, and we have thoughts, and we're envious and we're judgmental about what were they thinking wearing those shoes with that outfit, right? So those are parts of us. So that fourth A, that being able to have awareness of them as parts, is really important in this work. And so I'm going to invite you this week to go inside and people watch. And by people watch, I mean part watch. So let's talk a little bit about that for a moment. Many of us walk around not recognizing that we have parts. And even if you become aware of the theory that you have parts, you may still not be able to pick them apart, if you will. You may not be able to distinguish them from you, what you consider to be you. And so you think those emotions that you have, you think those thoughts that you have, you think those impulses or those sudden memories that come out of nowhere, you think they're just you. And the truth is, they are you, but they're also not all of you. So let's talk about that for a minute. If that kind of leaves you scratching your head, and I'd like you to kind of consider for a moment, how many times do you really want two different things at the same time? You really want to save money for retirement, but you really want that pair of shoes. How can you want both of those things? What about you really want to cut down on sweets? You've been reading stuff that sugar is bad for you. But then if someone asks you if you want your favorite treat, you say yes so fast that your head spins. Like, so how does that work? How can you be one person wanting both things? You want money for retirement and you want your shoes. You want to cut down on sweets because you hear sugar's bad for you. And yet the next thing you know, you're slurping down whatever it was so fast, there wasn't even a moment to breathe, right? How can one person want two things at the same time? Well, in internal family systems, we believe that we're not mono-minded. We don't believe that we are just one person. We actually believe we are multi-minded, and that all of those parts of us, the ones that want the shoes, the ones that want money to retire on, the one that wants the sweets, the one that wants to cut down on the sweets, they each have their own agenda and belief about what is right for you. So the next question might be, hang on. If they're both me, how do I know which one is really me? And I would say they're both really you. They just both have very different ways of going about being you. And so I just invite you to consider that both of these parts, the one that wants the shoes, the one that wants money for retirement, the one that wants the sweet, the one that says, oh, sugar's bad for us, they're both you. And so this is why I'm actually inviting you to do the internal people watching, the internal parts watching, just like you would if you were in an airport or a mall. If you're sitting in a cafe somewhere, eating dinner, and you're noticing the people around you, I also want you to use that same technique to start to be aware of what's going on inside of you, that awareness of your thoughts, that awareness of that emotion that you might be having, that awareness of the frustration or whatever it is, and be aware those are different parts of you. Now, the trick is to get curious about your thoughts, your emotions, your impulses, and not judging them. And that is easier said than done, my friend, because we all have judgers. However, if you are judging what you're thinking, what you're feeling, welcome that part of you too. Welcome the part that's judging you for having just, dropped $200 on a pair of shoes. Welcome the part that is judging you because you hurt someone's feelings because you didn't have the sweet that they know is your favorite because you're trying to cut down on sugar. How dare you? Aunt Tilly made that just for you and you didn't eat it. Now you hurt her feelings. Okay. That's a part. That is a part that's judging you. And so notice it. Welcome it as a part. Welcome it as a judger. Notice them. Start to be aware of them. Because starting to be aware is a great place to begin your parts work journey. And if you're a little further down the path, it can also be a great way to slow yourself down and remind yourself to notice what's coming up for you. When your thoughts are flying around as you're like trying to figure out how to get something done because you're on a deadline, if you notice those thoughts flying around, that can help the parts to recognize that they aren't alone. When you can get curious about, why are you running like a 3,000 page to-do list, says my exaggerating part, in my head while I'm trying to get this project done. Everybody breathe. I say that a lot in my system. Everybody take a breath. Tell me what's going on. Tell me why I am running this 3,000 line to-do list down my head. Because you're going to forget something because it's scary because we can't mess this up. Take a breath. I hear you. You're right. We don't want to mess this up. We want to get it right. We don't want to make a mistake. We don't want to cause work for other people. I see you. Thank you. Thank you for trying to help me. So that awareness is a great place to start. Again, whether you're just beginning your parts work journey or if you're a little further along, but sometimes you get caught up in the parts because that's what happens. So each of these parts, the worry, the excitement, the concern, the running through a to-do list, they are all different parts of you. Most of them are managers. And they're trying to help you do whatever it is you're trying to do, whether you're trying to get ready to go on a trip, whether you're trying to finish up a work project, whether you're trying to get the kids out the door because they've got like practice after school. They're all managers trying to help you. So that's it for today. Your call to action is people watch your own parts. Begin to understand that the majority of the chatter in your head are your parts trying to help you. So I hope you enjoyed today. I hope that this was helpful to you. Please drop me a line in the comments below. Hit the subscribe button so that you always get the new content. And until the next time, love to you and all of your parts.